go piss off, dummy realtor.
I'm going to totally cut that just as a solo clip of just Danny going, hey, dummy realtor, go piss off.
Dang it.
Welcome to the latest episode of Over a Pint. We are back, and we're having a second time guest, Danny Woof. I mean, I don't even remember the last time you were on the show. When, like, that was years. You were one of the. We did it actually at the AREA conference. Like the first reality in like a room where all that was between us and the conference room was like a cloth, and there's so much background noise.
Nice.
If you remember
so it wasn't
that.
even good video.
Probably not. We've improved the setup since then. So for people who don't know who you are you?
Danny Woof, Brokerage Nation. I help real estate agents with their marketing, with their online automation, follow-up, that sort of thing. I help brokerages with training their agents. So I'm in the middle of a 5-city speaking tour right now and just happen to be in Toronto where you are.
Perfect. Cheers.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Cheers.
So, what would you say like your main focus is when you're helping agents these days? Because you've done a lot of things over the years. It's always, generally speaking, marketing related. But what's that like main thing you're helping people with?
Not dropping leads in the cracks. It doesn't make sense to pay for more leads if you're not going to follow up with the ones that you've already got.
That's basically the biggest shift I've made in the last like 18 months too. Is like away from just lead gen to like, you need the rest of this shit figured out.
Yeah.
Because so many people just have nothing. They just send them leads, nothing. So what do you do? Like someone comes to you and say, I'm getting, let's say 100 leads a month, and they're not converting. What do you now look at with them and try to help them do?
Well, most agents don't need more leads at all of any kind. They just need to be following up with the ones that they have, and more importantly, working their database. So like all last week I was onboarding people. Before we got them the fresh stuff, we had them import their old A-list. So their past clients, their friends, their family, their sphere of influence. And then I took them through a couple exercises to identify the missing information, missing birthdays, missing, maybe not even the full address, but at least just like getting what city is the person from and identifying that in the database, and then showing them how that we can create sub-lists of all their people, who are the people in Oshawa, of all their people, who are the people in Whitby, of all their people, and creating smaller lists, and then having a big enough why and reason to pick up the phone and call, or to have a reason to text the people, because if you don't have a reason, it's kind of like spammy.
So what is a reason you would generally give someone who hasn't been in touch with someone in their database for a while to text someone in it?
So the first one is to reach out with what information you're missing. So, hey, I happen to notice I didn't have your address, or hey, I happen to notice I didn't have your birthday, and I'm just updating my stuff. I just wanted to reconnect with you. Just the basics. Yeah, the basic stuff.
Easy.
Yeah,
everyone always overthinks it. Like, that's the one thing I've noticed, especially the more we like talking to people, is like, even just simple things like, we got an email today from someone who wanted to copy one of the emails we did, and they're just like, all right, I need your help. What do I put for a subject line? It's like, what's the subject of the email? And they said, like, there's your subject line. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
And then the other one I do now, I'm like, just paste the email into ChatGPT and just say, give me 10 variations of subject lines, and then pick your favorite.
I'll be doing ChatGPT. So we're at a conference tomorrow. I'm at a conference tomorrow speaking on ChatGPT. I've been doing a lot of that.
Me too.
The 5-city tour I'm on right now,
yeah.
That's the topic that everybody wants me touching on.
So what would you say, because I have a few, and I'd be curious what yours is, and you always get this with ChatGPT. What do you find is the most common, like, aha moment where someone, like, sees something you're doing and their eyes light up?
So I did a webinar for a board, a real estate board. And because it wasn't my session, I didn't have the list of all the agents that were in attendance.
No.
So I said to everybody, I'm like, hey, if you want me to send you the video recording, comment in the chat, the Zoom chat, with either your cell number or your email. And they did, but it was a hot mess. People were having their own conversations. Some people were asking questions about other parts of the seminar. Other people would give their email and then like 5 minutes later give their cell number. So it was like very messy. So I copied all of that text, went to ChatGPT, and I told it, create a table with first name, last name, phone, and email, match up the contact information, and delete the rest. And it was done in 30 seconds.
Now, did you go and double check they got it right?
Yeah.
And it was perfect? Close?
Well, yeah and no. So what information was there was right, except for there was a couple that it missed for some reason. It like glanced over or whatever. So then I called it out and I told it, like, you missed this, why? And I had a conversation with it. Yeah, it's just like I treat AI almost as if it's a person. So if it makes a mistake, I address the mistake and say, this is what I asked, this is what I got, what happened.
Yeah. There's two pieces that really helped me improve how I used it. One was someone's like, treat it like an intern just out of school who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And so it's not about just saying, hey, can you write this ad for me? It's like, you have to give them the target audience. You have to give them the pain points you're addressing. You have to give them the call to action. You give them all the parameters and then tell them to do it. Mm-hmm. And you get a much better output.
I got one more for you.
Yeah, let's go.
Ask it a question. So before I have it do anything, a lot of times I'll ask it, what questions do you have before you start to produce a better result? And sometimes it asks me questions I didn't even think was information I needed to give it.
So I was talking to a guy who used to own or be one of the guys behind coaching.com, so like big coaching company.
Yeah.
And he was saying that if you ask it like what coaching frameworks it knows, and then you then craft your prompt based on one of those, you can actually turn it into your own personal coach. So like help you work through your like whatever problems and challenges you're having based on like popular coaching ones. Like he showed me one that was basically like he told ChatGPT, act like you're Tony Robbins, and like the one he showed me, it was like a 300 word initial prompt, and it was just like ask me one question at a time, and we're gonna work through the And he's like, yeah, it's like 95% as good as most coaches.
Yeah,
like it's pretty wild.
I said to it, do you know Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian? Obviously it does. So then I said, with all of your knowledge, with books, audio, podcasts, anything that you have on Jerry Seinfeld, could you act as Jerry Seinfeld and create a stand-up comedy bit for me with the theme of real estate, just to see what it said?
Yeah, how was it?
Hilarious. It actually was really funny, and it sounded like Jerry Seinfeld. So then I did the same thing, but with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And when I was reading the Dave Chappelle one, it's in my head sounded like Dave Chappelle.
So I did one and had the opposite experience. So Jen on my team is also like a musician, singer on the side.
Cool. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen. She's the one who's going to be like editing this Chopping Up for Social. So she'll be the first one to see this before it goes out. Hey, Jen. So we send her, I like jokingly went in ChatGPT and like write a song about Just Sell Homes, digital marketing agency for real estate agents. Wrote a song and then I replied, now do a version like it's Eminem.
Right.
The closest it got was don't be a square. You gotta be there.
Nice. That's
right,
terrible.
not quite Eminem.
Right.
That does like there's a few like one that we really like for writing stuff is do it in the voice of Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
And it does a pretty good job of that. But then like I feel like problem with Ryan Reynolds, like so much of it his is just the delivery of the tone.
Yeah.
That you still gotta be able to do that part, but it actually does a pretty good job of him.
Okay, I got a good framework.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to use ChatGPT or any AI, so I tell it, whatever the topic is, it doesn't matter if you're trying to figure out anything, whatever your topic is, you go to it and say, write me a 60-minute presentation outline on, and then you put what you want it to do. And what it's going to do is bullet point all of the ideas, because the first draft is just to get the talking points, and the ones that we like, we're then going to go deeper one chunk at a time.
Yeah.
So by having it write out the outline, it actually creates the framework of the rest of the project.
So what I like doing similar to that is I'll have it do that outline, and then I'll come back and say, can you give me 5 or 10 outside the box creative ideas that could fit in this? And then I'll ask it that 3 or 4 times, and you'll get a list of like 20 to 30 kind of, most of them are like ridiculous, but like we recently did this for REM of like what types of like new content series could we do?
Yeah.
And I was shocked at like how like I remember we got 25 creative suggestions, and I would say like 20 of them with some minor tweaking were all pretty freaking good ideas.
Yeah.
Like the harder challenge now is deciding which to actually implement.
Yeah.
Because it did like the brainstorming side of it is great.
Yeah.
But and then it's just like then you can start replying with like, okay, now what? Well, the other one I like doing: act as a project manager. List out all the assets and a realistic timeline for each one to get it done. And then it's like, okay, you're going to need this, 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 and this. This one should take you this much time. This one take you this much time, and it lists it all out. And then I'll go back like, all right, now create the first one. Instead of that like 1 week timeline they give, it's like 30 seconds.
Yeah. No, it's wild, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's pretty fun. But if you get good at it, it's gonna change, like save you hours. Like I'm probably I'd say at least saving 10 hours a week.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's wild, man. Honestly, this is the like month 4 roughly of it being like a functional thing for us, and it's already surpassed what they thought was going to take to like 2030.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's already past that. So
like this is the first, because like you've been in the industry as long as I have, even longer now. I've been 10 years. How long have you been now?
I started in 2007.
Okay, it's a little longer. Is that 15? No, it's even more. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Anyways, we're both in that 10 to 20 year range. I've probably seen 5 or 6 different texts that have come around that was like, this is game changing.
Yeah.
And it's always nothing. This is the first one that I'm like, okay, this is actually
This is like the level of electricity was invented.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I think.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
No, but
you
like,
can see the path.
Yeah.
The one that I'm really curious, which I think a lot of people never would have thought would happen, is how anyone whose business is based on SEO could be completely changed.
Oh,
right?
So many businesses are going to be changed.
A lot, but I'm thinking of like for real estate specifically, for people who do marketing.
Yeah.
People whose business is based around SEO, they're the most at risk now of having to figure out something new. Right? Like if your whole like leads in system is organic SEO, that's going to completely change now. Yeah. Not now, but like 2 years, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 years, but like this thing where it's like now it's going to be one answer right in your screen instead of scrolling through 6. How's that going to look for it all? And like how are the PPC ads now, where it's not even serving ads now?
Right. People are going to stop using Google and search because I did
not
that
there yet, but
so I did that where I said research, and then I had a research. I told it. Grants and funding for youth in Ontario who want to start a business. I said research, and then within 30 seconds it was boom, 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 and it gave 6 different programs. It talked about the age range, it talked about the money that they get, it talked about like where to go to apply. I'm like, why would I ever do a Google search ever again?
Now, are you fact checking those when you get those? Because that's one I've noticed is like, it was actually funny. I was on a conversation with someone recently, and he was going to Regina for like a meeting or something. And he's like, I wanted to come up with some icebreaker topics because I didn't know anything about Regina.
And so it was wrong on one of them?
Oh, so he's like, give me an interesting fact about Regina. And it told a story of how the first football game ever was actually in Regina between Winnipeg whatevers and the Regina whatevers.
Yeah.
And like how this first football game came about, how it was a mix of this sport, and it's like this big thing. Not one thing was true. Like that was 100% made up because that's all it's doing. Like even the CEO of OpenAI was like, yeah, it doesn't give you like factual answers. It gives you what it sounds like an answer would be.
Yeah,
but
it's
once
scary.
They close that gap to factual, that's when like Google's screwed.
Right.
But they'll also have their own, so they might not be. But
so it is scary because it is like the blind leading the blind because a lot of times it sounds so real of what it just said that you're going to think it's true.
Yeah, it's the world's greatest bullshitter.
It is.
Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
But, like, that's where it's like, as long as you understand that limitation, though, then you can do some really great things with it. But you got to know that going in, because I've seen people try to, like, rely on it
No.
It's like one guy's like, I tried it out and I asked it, like, what was it? He's like, how the line of succession works in American politics or something. But like this is a very fact-based thing. He's like, it was 90% wrong. And I was like, well, that's not what you can use it for yet. Like, but now ask it to write an email to an upset seller about why their home isn't selling and assure them you have their back.
Ooh,
an email that might have taken you an hour to think about the wording to make sure it didn't piss them off is now done in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And better than most people would write, or as good as you would write with minor tweaking.
My first experience with it was December. I was playing with the idea of it. And I just wrote out bullet points of a night. I took my neighbor tobogganing, and I just wrote out the experience. I probably put like 20 bullet points on it, and I said, create a story for a 5-year-old using these points.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So there's a couple of good ones. So a real estate example that we did, because one that we love is I hate just sold marketing, right? Like I hate that, hey, 3 days, 100% of asking, or 100,000 over asking. And consumers hate it too. So what we always recommend people do is create story-based case studies, like the story of how it sold. And now, but the problem with that is no one wants to sit down and write those.
Right.
But they're willing to like bullet point the details. So what we've started doing is like take those bullet points, put it into ChatGPT, and have it write the case study for you.
And then, so whatever it gives you, my rule of thumb to anybody listening is never just copy and paste and use it verbatim. Pretend it's like 80% done. And
It's a first draft.
Yeah, first draft, and it's up to you to, like, it's giving you a blank cake, and then you have to decorate it.
Yeah.
And fact check it.
Yeah, you don't rely on it for anything factual.
Yeah.
Always check. Now, GPT-4, you know what the interesting one is? I'm like, I don't want to be the first agent who would get sued over this, but it writes really good clauses. For
lawyers are really afraid right now.
Yeah, because like it knows every case, and then like I've had it just as like a test because I've been doing some contracts lately. Of like the one that I use it for is I copied the clause in. I'd be like, explain this in plain English, and then highlight any potential issues that could arise if I signed this, and it nailed it perfectly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I want to add this to it, and it would write that. And I was like, and then we just like, okay, now I've done 90% of the legwork. I just go now have that reviewed by the lawyer, and it now cuts that bill down.
Oh man, okay, so it's not going to replace lawyers.
No,
lawyers using it are going to replace lawyers. It's not going to, like, AI is not going to take a real estate agent's job. Real estate agents using AI are going to take the other realtor's job.
Because you can do so much more in the same amount of time, right? Like, I was using an example when I did my webinar on ChatGPT. It's like, all right, you're marketing a listing. There's so much you have to write and do with that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let's just write down bullet points, the facts about the property. Like, you can basically like copy paste the MLS data sheet into it.
Oh, I got a good one for MLS.
Yeah.
You say to it, not to steal your thunder.
Okay.
So I had it write out an MLS description with just the basic information that you had about the property. Then I go into a dialogue with it, asking it a question. I say, do you know this area? And I talk about the neighborhood that it's in, just to see that it does. And then it'll spit back a paragraph saying, yeah, of course I know that area. It's blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So it tells me about the area. So then I say, research the schools, parks, transportation, and employment in that area. And then it creates this long-winded blog, basically, about all of the information of, like, what are the schools in the area, what are the parks, what are the transportation, and the employment. And then you could rewrite that as part of the, maybe not the MLS description, but as a blog on your website for that listing.
Yeah. So what we were doing is we'll take like the MLS data sheet, paste it in, and be like, write a 1,000 character, because we give that constraint of like whatever they can put on MLS. Write a story-based 1,000 character description of this property.
Did it go over or way under? I've had it where
the first time it goes way over, and then I'll be like, cut that back to 1,000 characters or less. So you get to like sometimes repeat yourself. But then what I do with that one is I'm like, all right, now create a 7-day coming soon campaign. I word it clearer than that, but basically it's like, now create a 7-day content calendar for social media. Okay, now create a just listed content calendar. And then it'll be like, all right, now suggest a caption and an image to go with each of those in table form. And then respond like, now write an email to my database promoting the listing. Now write the feature sheet that's going to be sitting in the home. and that's like now write the first drip campaign for new leads that reach out about this property for more information. It's basically just like start to finish, every single piece of copy you would possibly need, you get 80 to 90% of the way done in about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that used to be, that process could easily be 5 to 8 hours for someone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty wild how quick that change can happen, especially if you can train someone like how to input the right things.
Ooh, so if you know any kids that are wondering what they're going to do when they grow up, and if they're like doctor, lawyer, astronaut, I would say look at becoming a prompt engineer, because that's going to be the career choice of the future that gets paid the most money. One of the top salaries at companies is going to be the prompt engineers, because they're replacing so much.
Yeah, I saw one company already is trying to hire an expert prompt engineer for $300,000.
Yeah, actually, I saw that.
Like, how are you even an expert yet?
There is no expert yet, because
there's
no course, there's no certificate, there's no anything yet. It's
that's
a wild
being
west.
built by ChatGPT as we speak. So that's actually a fun one that I've found recently. Is you ask ChatGPT to be the prompt engineer, and ask them to give you the prompts, and then you take those prompts, put them back into it. And that actually works really well. So you can be like, act as the world's foremost prompt engineering expert for direct response marketing. If I had a campaign on X topic, how would you write the prompt to get the best possible ad out of it? Mm-hmm. And it'll give you prompts. Then you just feed that prompt back in, and you get some pretty good stuff. Like it's like training itself to do everything.
Yeah,
that's great.
It is cool. It really is.
I can nerd out about it for a while, because it's the first time I've actually had this like big jump in like output ability.
Yeah, and it's evolving. It's supposed to double every 2 years, and like.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it going to steal everybody's job and blow up the world?
No.
Probably. The answer to me is it probably will. In like
I for one
years.
welcome our new robot overlords. I don't think so. Anytime soon, it's like, for example, it's not replacing a real estate agent. No. Like, the people that would be worried about jobs, like, for example, like junior copywriters.
Big time.
Definitely worried. Like, that's the junior one. Like, top level, like, for example, I have one who I hire to do some, like, high level copy. It's nowhere near as good as her. That's because she's doing, like, customer interviews to find out their pain points and do all that and, like, then repurpose it into her own words. But, I mean, then as an example, I will then go, she gives me the spreadsheet. I've taken that spreadsheet, pasted it into ChatGPT and say, using this information, now write copy based on that.
It'll be a tool they use.
That's 95% is what a regular copywriter will do, but like that type of thing. So it's like, what I would say is like, if you're at the top of the field, you're going to be miles ahead, but it's going to eliminate the bottom, right? Like, and it raises the floor for everybody. So it's like, the people who get by doing absolute crap, they go like, how is that possible? Like, I saw one recently in one of the Facebook groups where they put as a clause in a home inspection something like, we're going to do a home inspection. And that was actually the full home inspection clause.
Good job.
You're like, but you can now just type that into ChatGPT and it would actually give you a clause.
But don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Mainly, you don't want to be the first one in front of a judge who said that ChatGPT wrote it for you. But ChatGPT 4, or GPT-4 that powers ChatGPT, got 90th percentile on the bar exam. So it's pretty good.
And it's only going to get better.
Yeah. That's where it's...
Oh, okay, so here's the other thing. So people are going to be like, you shouldn't use it, you shouldn't feed the beast, and like we're all training it to take over our jobs. Okay, so if I ask the question, like, how many of you use Canva? A lot of people listening would. How many of you listen to Spotify? How many of you use Google or Bing? How many of you use Facebook? You're probably watching this on Facebook or YouTube. They're all using AI. Like, we're not just... You can't avoid it. We're not going to be able to avoid it.
Yeah, it's like people clinging onto horses when the car came. Like, it's... You're going to have to change. It's like, it's that big of an improvement that you have to adapt to it.
Yeah.
But you don't like...
Most of the apps they use, the everyday apps, like they're
that's
all
where it's going to be
integrating
interesting is like that next jump in it, where, because I was reading one that was saying that they're expecting like localized ones. So like you'll have your own private one on your phone that works offline that even gets to know you. And so, for example, like one that would be in like your email client is every email that comes in, it'll auto draft the full reply for you. And then you just come look at it.
I like the word draft.
Yeah.
I like that it's going to auto draft the reply and not actually send it.
Yeah, you don't have to send it because you still got to check it.
Yeah.
But like, for example, what I've seen with one would be like, say, like, so for example, my company for our SOPs and knowledge docs, we use Notion.
Okay.
Is you could create your own that is only trained on your stuff. And now it can pull, so like, for example, an employee, a new one, would get a chat that's only trained on your team stuff that could be like, okay, I have to do this, how do I do it? And it will go search the company wiki and then pull it out for them and put it there.
And it'll help create it.
Yeah, so it's like these like personalized versions of ChatGPT.
Oh, we're all going to have, like, it's going to be voice operated right from our phone, like the speakers that we have, robots in the future for sure.
Yeah, no, this is where I'm excited, like, because they're launching like the plugins for ChatGPT, which by the time this comes out, they could already be more live.
There is a bunch now.
But
plugins.
Most people don't have access yet.
Right.
It's like I'm on the wait list. I haven't even gotten access yet. But have you seen how they code the ChatGPT plugins?
No.
It's not code. It's plain language. And then so like the developer who creates the plugin to plug into the API writes what they want their plugin to do in plain language.
Right. Yeah.
And then ChatGPT on its own then just goes and writes itself its own plugin code.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's crazy. So like it can, like, I could then start creating code.
Yeah.
Like I did a test. Like I've had this idea for years for a business to help people with like managing the offer process. And I've never had the time or desire to actually start it, but I really like the idea. And just as a test one night when I was bored, I was like, list out everything I would need for this. And I had to start writing the code. And after like 10 minutes, I basically had the entire thing written out. So yeah, AI, big fan.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not everything I do. Right now, that's the hot topic, so obviously this is what people want me talking about. But yeah, no, a big piece of what we're up to also is the automating realtors' businesses, like connecting all of the dots, because they'll be using a tool like Schedule Once or Calendly that will connect and book it on your calendar, but it doesn't add all that contact information to your database. Or your for sale sign. You can have a for sale sign with a sign rider, and on the bottom of the sign rider could be like a QR code or a call to action to text, but that's not necessarily tied in with the agent's database. So we're doing a lot of that where we're actually tying in all the pieces, because there's so many like islands of like, I got my website, I got my CRM, I've got my calendar, I've got MailChimp, I've got, you know what I mean? There's all these like little weird islands. So we're working really hard at consolidating all of that, so it's like a one umbrella and just talks to each other.
Yeah, and what's nice is like you spend the upfront time to like set that up, and then it's automated after that.
Right.
Like that's the beauty of it. It's like, yes, it's a huge upfront investment of time usually, then you're done.
I have a rule of thumb. If I ever catch myself repeating something 3 or 4 times, I'll spend a half hour to an hour figuring out how to automate it.
Yeah. Which should be easier now with AI.
Yeah, in the future.
I just started testing it out, so I don't have feedback yet, but there's a plugin for my browser that's an AI base, and it's supposed to monitor what I do.
Creepy.
And then suggest automations for anything it sees that could be automated.
Wow, that's cool.
So again, it's still in that learning phase right now, so I don't know if it'll be worth it.
Right.
But I'm going to let it run for a month or so and then see what suggestions it makes. Like, there's some really basic ones it can do is like monitor your calendar, and then whether it's Zoom or Google Meet or anything else, it'll just at the appointed appointment time just auto open the meeting for you and put it up. Right. Just so that you never like end up late, because that's happened to me where I'll be like, oh, I got a meeting in 5 minutes, let me just do this thing quick, and then 10 minutes goes by. Right. Because I just got so consumed by something. So that ability to just like auto open the meeting for me, I'm like, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at things like that, but then there's others where it could be like, all right, do the meeting, take the transcript notes, put those into ChatGPT, have that auto summarize them, then pull out the action items, then put those into Asana and assign it to the team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like, full like end around with all the systems, and I was like, all right, there's gonna be some. That's why I'm testing it out now, because if that can actually do all that, that's a huge time saver.
Yeah, it is.
So,
It really is a huge time saver. I love it, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's coming, because I feel like there's stuff now where you'll like. I think we talked about this on the phone the other day. The video game stuff, which I realize is not that relevant for a lot of people here, but you can.
Okay, I'll give them a video example.
Yeah.
So there's one right now that's kind of like Bomb Bomb, where you make a personalized Bomb Bomb video, but in this case you make a generic video. So it'd be like, hey, it's Danny Wood over at ABC Realty. I want to thank you for looking at our listing at 123 Street, blah, 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 whatever you say.
Yeah.
But you do that one video, and it scans your face and digitizes your voice, and then when a person fills in a form, and it's like Amy. Well, when Amy gets the video, it's my video of me, and I'm like, hey Amy, it's Danny here, and it actually looks like it, like 95%. And it's really only catching the first little bit where it's like, hey Amy, so it does the first bit, and then the rest is the original video.
Yeah, because if you do it too long, it still doesn't quite have the lips right for most of them. But when it's like only a couple words,
I'm like a mime when I talk. My lips hardly move at all, so it works real good.
Yeah, it works out as long as you're not too expressive.
Yeah,
and it'll be great because then you'll get the hey, go fuck yourself, and then they need to figure out how to stop.
Yeah,
that.
What he means by that is, say the person fills in the form, and they fill in the form of like, go piss off, dummy realtor, like whatever, and then it's going to pull that in as the first name, and now you got a video of you saying, hey, go piss off, dummy realtor.
Like, I'm going to totally cut that just as a solo clip of just Danny going, hey, dummy realtor, go piss off.
Dang it. I'm going to use AI to Photoshop your face over top of mine.
Oh, that's perfect. So what we can do with proper editing is anything we want. Yeah. So like the video editing stuff that's coming has been blowing. I saw one demo, and there's like a video's going like someone walking down the street, and then someone just typed in, "Can you take out the street light?" Yeah. And it just edited out from the video of the street light. Yeah. It's like the person walking down the street, can you change their jacket to red? Jacket's red now.
There's one right now that's actually active and live on the App Store, and you're recording yourself, but this is your script. So you're looking into the camera, and your eye is reading the script the whole time.
And then it moves your eyes?
Yeah, and it actually does a pretty good job of it.
I've seen that. I haven't tried it yet, but I have seen that. Yeah, there's some pretty wild stuff that's like, the next 2 years are going to be pretty exciting.
Right. If I wanted to make it better, I wouldn't be looking to the side. I would have my camera and then the script, so I'm just looking slightly down. It would translate better.
Yeah. But always good ways to do it. But
yeah.
Anyways, I'm excited. This is the first like new tech in a long time that I'm like, this is legitimately a big change.
Yeah.
Because like I can't remember like how many different techs have we seen? I'm trying to think of like examples.
QR codes in 2010 was
game changer, and then they only became useful again during COVID.
Facebook ads was a big one.
Yeah, but I mean, for those ones, that's the cheapest leads I've ever gotten. I wouldn't necessarily say game changing.
Well, no, in 2008 and whatever, whenever we started doing the Facebook ads, that was game changer because you couldn't do it before.
Yeah, and I think how cheap you can get the leads is crazy. I mean, even still, you can't get cheaper leads anywhere else.
Right.
Besides your own database, but that's just your time.
Yeah, and we're going to be using AI to like process that and helping with the database part.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, but it would be good to use AI for you to write out a list of questions. So I did a podcast with one of the CEOs of one of the franchises. Yeah. And so I told ChatGPT, I'm like, I'm doing a podcast with the CEO of this company, the audience who listens, and I explained who the audience is who listens. And then I told it the direction I wanted to go, and then I asked it to write out a list of questions that I can ask the CEO. Yeah. But before you do, let me know what questions you have to give me a better response. So it did have questions. I answered them, and at the end of the podcast when we were done and stopped recording, they had said that was one of the best interviews that they ever had with the best questions. And I'm like,
I do that for non-over a pint shows. I specifically bring 0 questions ever to over a pint just to see where it goes.
Right.
But I've done that for like other interviews already, or even hiring people.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, I'm hiring for this position. Give me like 10 useful questions that'll actually tell me if they'll be good at their job.
It's a good one when you're joining a team. What questions should I ask when joining a team? If you got somebody who's joining your team, what questions should I ask this person who's joining? Yeah,
it's awesome.
Man, we could go on forever. So hey, if anybody's listening, if you want to maybe have a session done for your brokerage or your board or your team or your mastermind group or whatever, I mean, my name's Danny Wood. I would love to hang out with you in person or virtually. If we do it virtual, there's no guarantee that I'll be the one doing it. It'll probably be a computer. I'm just kidding. It'll be me.
Yeah. Or at some point he would have done it. Now it's just repurposed. And then if you want to do like a full day thing with the two of us, we used to do those pre-COVID.
We should do another one.
We should.
I'm in.
Let's book it. All right. So by the time this comes out, we might have already launched it. But we're going to be doing multiple, probably full day things. We'll invite you. It'll be good. Yeah. And maybe we'll do it on, should we do the first one on leveraging ChatGPT?
Well, it wouldn't be a whole day
AI.
just on
No.
AI. It would be a mixed day of marketing.
We'd be
AI.
using it to work towards a goal.
Yeah.
We just got to figure out. We got some workshopping to do on our end. We'll put it there. If it hasn't launched yet, but we have a date, you can find the link here, depending on the platform. Otherwise, I don't know who the next guest is going to be. I haven't booked anyone. I'll figure that out soon. So, Danny, if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
Text me, 905-903-5442. You can obviously search me online, Danny Wood Coaching. Brokerage Nation is the company. Texting, 905-903-5442. Give me a call, give me a text.
Jen, when you're editing this, take what he just said, put it in the description, comments, all that fun stuff. Put it everywhere, Jen. Leaning on you for that.
Thanks, Jen.
It's great having a good employee, right? Anyways, thanks for listening. See you next time I figure out who a guest is and have them on. See ya.
Bye, guys.